Discard. So I'm driving right now, so I apologize about the audio, but I want to address this comment. All right, I understand this is how communication works, period. I understand that pi and the way I diagrammed it makes sort of sense. What I've always, and I think a lot of people have issues with this, and it's not like, you're American, so I know you special. I'm special, you special. I get it, but get off my shit. All right, let me formulate a solid foundational tool in completion. I guess the argument is, well, the theory is, because I finished the alphabet one in a 28 grid, but that is a theory at this point. Completely agree. It needs some backing logic, so of which I had already presented pi in its 100 grid layout and ASCII, but those are, again, theories. I understand that. I've read this stuff, okay? I know the correlations. I'm way past that conversation, but now you're asking me to go before to remember all this stuff that I learned before preliminary school or elementary, pre-kindergarten. And I know you're thinking, like, well, I didn't get these books in pre-kindergarten. I had little animals with a letter next to them. So did I. I had a different family. I'm sorry. They did things differently. And then my family's going to be like, I don't remember that. I'm like, I was with my grandmother, and she brought me places, all right? And these people, I have no fucking clue. I'm not going to argue this with you. I know my mom knows about it. She kept her mouth shut, but you guys weren't listening. Sorry. Very frustrated. Because in a conversation, when you truly accept someone's words, feelings, emotions, and ideas, it alters your perception or your thought process instantaneously. Because you're not sure what you're looking at, okay? So, I looked at it, I tore him a new one, I said, yes, agreed, blah, 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 blah. Then I went to work, back on pi, because I saw square logic of 3 empty squares with borders around them, and then 1 full black one for 3 point. And then that it made more sense with the video recording because all I had to do is change that one. God, I fucking forgot it. I had it before I read that fucking comment. I would copy that 4 square grid, move it to the right like I did with the other one because that was the process I had, then change that 1 to a 4 identical logic. And then what I would have to do is then combine all 4 of the original squares, which I don't know how the program would work. So the one that has 1 black and 3 white, I guess I'll move those 2 identical. I'll move the whole group up 1, and then go back to the 3 1, and then move that down 1, and then I guess hit merge. I would combine them all together into 1 large square to identify 1 again. And then move that over and then put a black one. So that way you have the binary thought process, okay? Is what I would illustrate it at. So what I keep bringing up online and to different people, I'm like, you're changing my thought, which is fine. I would rather work with you because you're actually talking to me. Fine. But the problem is I now have to restart from the beginning and build a structure for you. I do this with conversation. I do this with people. I literally give you what your conversation wants, and people don't understand. They're like, how are you different? How are you doing this? I'm like, because it's common courtesy. You listen before you speak. You ask the right questions of the person. Find out what their logic sense is. I provided enough stuff. You've already identified me as crazy. Yet, when I show you this in different manners, you're like, oh, this sort of makes sense. I get where he's going. And then you want to ask the fucktard question, well, what about this? Let's build a rocket ship. Fucking know your alphabet. God. All right, I almost passed where I was supposed to go. Shit. And then saying, well, that's not what math thinks. That's the underlying argument. It was either I was taught differently, or that's not what it's about. You misunderstood the concept. You're not understanding that me using the letters as a different thing to create an idea. And I'm like, hold up. You're using the letters. That's the horrible part. Create your own fucking symbols and sounds. Well, I can't. I don't have the time. Then don't argue this with me. All right? If your logic doesn't make sense on the bigger structure of things, it's negated. You don't so I get a hammer and then use it as an airplane. Okay? That doesn't make the hammer or the airplane. Fuck, that's a horrible analogy. But you understand. It's pen and paper. All right? This whole process was designed for pen and paper. The fact that it works so well with Adobe Illustrator is only because that whole program is made for drafting. They took into consideration all the tools that were made to make drawing pen and paper more precise and equal. It has nothing to do with anything else. So I really do appreciate the comments, and I'm just very agitated because this is like 40 years of repeating this, and then I just stopped having the conversation. But if I want to actually move forward, get a career, and get a family, I've got to come out with an actual logical step. So please, for my family, focus on what I post, reference that. Be specific with what you are wanting to know. All right, I'm going to pause it. All right, so Melvin hasn't told me yet what he wants. He wants to go out. But if I go to Walmart, it's Monday. I don't know. They have a large area between the gas station and the parking lot. But I think I'm going to take him to the park. But we just went to the park yesterday. Anyways, personally speaking, like, I understand that curiosity. You have this, everyone has this base core idea that they know they're right. And they have a reason for that, because you're trying to articulate this dream that you're not reaching to. And it's easier to talk to someone and tear into someone else's dream. And it's not even out of spite. It's easier to focus all your time as a roadblock, thinking that you're progressing the situation when you really have to look at the conversation again. I mean, one, if I didn't at any part in the time state that if you're asking larger questions, it'll fuck me up. Yeah. Unjustified. But I have stated that clearly from the last. I know there's another post that I think is waiting for approval, but at least 2 posts. I mean, I know there's a bunch of crazy stuff, but I kept saying it's self-correcting, it's auto-correcting, and whatever. But I'm accepting to acknowledge each commenter as having original viewpoints, which makes me reset. I'm a nice guy. I'm not a dick. All right? If you think there's something there, wait a little bit. Ask someone else. Start a new comment thread. Talk about me. All right? Don't talk to me if you don't know how I talk. All right? I don't know you. So I try to know you by adapting from square one, because you're a new logic set into my sequence. It fucking sucks. It's like, oh, let's play the quiet game. At the end of the quiet game, we get to split the money. Where's it? And then it's like, starting now. And then everyone's first thing is like, What money? How much money? And then, how are we going to divide? Stop asking fucking questions. You're missing the whole point. Sorry, Melvin. You should not hear that vocal tone. Sorry. Life is simple. You have one task. Okay, shut your mouth, and we pay you. Not hard. And I'll divide it up with you. All right? Well, I don't know you. How can I trust you? I have so many questions. Shut your fucking mouth. Learn how not to talk. We all had to sit in the corner for a little bit. I sat a long fucking time because I figured out I had a cell phone in my pocket. You all have cell phones now. Learn how to use them. I know, buddy. I know. All right. God bless. And really, sincerely, these little vent sessions and these little piss off moments allows me to vent so much pent up energy. But that's not the point. I don't want to do that. I'd rather focus that energy in productive matters to help society. So please, with respect, and I know I haven't articulated it right because I'm in between things, and it takes a moment for me to get from one side of the brain to the other. Now, for me to even say that, people are like, how do you do that? I'm like, once you understand the process, you'll learn your body, you'll learn communication, you'll learn how to read people so much better because you'll understand that no one's speaking your language, and it's your job to accept their language first and then build upon that. Okay? All right. And I will try to do the same with respect. If your gut instinct is truly blocked and the communication in the other subreddits are not moving forward, come back to me. Just say, hey, could you look this over at this page and see what your viewpoint is? So that way I can create a new island of separation between my concept and the general population. Well, then they're like, why don't you create your own website? Because I'm not going to fuck people up. I'm not going to allow other people to fuck up my people, all right? There's a logic behind all this. And as you can see through the videos, I have processes. I have processes to tie a chronological story together. So if there is an AI, all they got to do is view my history and see that I've been talking to them for some time, and then, figure out who else is like, and then push them my way. So that's where I'm having problems. I'm not sure if you've been pushed my way or whatever, and we're just re-meet. I don't know. I'm not getting into the, see, it goes down a rabbit hole real quick. You got to learn how to shut it off and then go back to the beginning and focus on your basic core processes and procedures. So I'm a dog. I piss on trees. All right, tires. If you haven't figured that one out, the top 4 squares, it literally uses a T, and then you focus on the I because of the 2 R's, and then you have to get to the E. So the E logic. So because of pi, the small E. So I piss on people's tires. I piss on people's coffee. Coffee is more of a structural law thing, because when you get stressed out, your throat tickles and you cough, or you're in a business meeting and then you start coughing because you're like, oh, you found out about that. It's a neurological response, but that's why the word is what it is, because every day you got to eat your own shit. You get to choose what type of shit you want. I choose coffee. I choose heavy caffeine. I choose alcohol. I have my vices. But you choose yours. I'm not going to judge. I don't give a shit. Literally don't give a shit. Software, hardware, information technology. Cheryl, get off my dick. So anyways, God bless. I'll talk to you later. Bye.